We live in a false dichotomy of left and right, although this doesn't mean that left and right thinking is inherently flawed. What it does mean is what I repeatedly try to clarify on my channel and blog, which is how the true political spectrum is collectivism on one side, usually defined as the left, and individualism on the other.
So, I've been thinking about the whole left and right thing quite a lot recently, and I kind of come to the conclusion that it doesn't really make much sense to talk about left and right. And the reason I think this is because it's not very easily defined in what the right is. And allow me to explain this. Now, on the left is collectivism. Now, one act of, say, a right-wing policy does not make a collectivist a rightist. So, for instance, if you're a collectivist and you believe in, say, the right to, say, free speech, which you could say is a right-wing policy, that doesn't make you on the right. However, if you're on the right and you advocate for one act of collectivism, whether it be, say, war, for instance, then that automatically, by definition, disqualifies you as being on the right, because the right, as Rocky Mr. Reed just said, is about individualism, whereas the left is about collectivism. And one act of collectivism automatically disqualifies you as being on the right. So we are pretty much all collectivists, apart from the anarcho-capitalists, because anarcho-capitalists believe in no forms of coercion whatsoever, whether it be through taxation or not whatnot. So the way I see it is the left and right scale when it comes to politics shouldn't be this kind of 50-50 kind of split diagram thing that you usually see on Google Images. It should really be 99% the left and the 1% the right. Now, admittedly, you can be more closer to the right, but still be on the left-hand side of the political spectrum, which is probably where Bernard Chapin comes in. But even Bernard Chapin believes in a 10% state, and this is another kind of contention I have with the whole left and right thing. It's kind of subjective to the time you live in. So in my video on Bernard Chapin, as I mentioned the what was it again? The Irish famine of the 19th century, and how the Irish famine could have been prevented if they hadn't had those what are they called now? Tariffs, I think they're called. So if they had tariffs, they would just been able to import food until the famine was over, and that we consider that to be a sort of laissez-faire capitalist. So when it comes to right wing, what we consider right wing, what we consider individualism, is actually kind of subjective to the time we live in, because throughout history there's always been some rights that have been not given to certain people, whether it be slavery, for instance. So as far as the whole left and right thing, it doesn't really make a great deal of sense. And even if we do accept the right, for instance, how exactly do you go about measuring the right? So, for instance, let's say a politician comes in and he gets rid of all social programs, but then he starts a war. Is he on the right now? I don't get it. Is that a right wing? Is he a right wing? I wouldn't think so. So that's just a few thoughts. If you disagree, feel free to comment. I'm fairly open on this.